This is a variety channel. You might see me pull tarot cards, travel to far destinations, go snorkeling, whatever. So I don't follow YouTube's algorithms, so don't be surprised when a new video shows up and there's only a few views. It's just because I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. Enjoy. When the tide goes out here between Nusalambongan and Nusa Penida, you can see all the rice fields. And I think these are seaweed fields where they harvest seaweed when the tide goes out. Pretty cool. There's a blanket right here with seaweed on it. Beautiful day. This has been the best day so far since I've been here, and I'm going back tomorrow. Here's the infamous yellow bridge. Yeah, it's not that packed right now. You can get across it pretty easy, but hi. Yeah, sure. So yeah, I just had to take a picture of those guys. But I don't know how well you guys can see the railing there. I smashed right into the railings there on the left-hand side. I'm coming this direction. Messed up my scooter. And my hand. It's still swollen. You can see it's bruised. I think I tore the ligaments, my left, or my pinky finger and my ring finger. Go back across it, but I don't want to go through the trouble of tying this thing to my bike. It's actually pretty slow right now. When I went across it, it was totally packed both directions. It was retarded. It's crazy. You couldn't get a car down it. It's just barely wide enough to get a scooter by each other. Morning guys, I'm back from nusalambongan. It was brutal, probably the roughest day of travel I think I've ever had. I got sick right before I got on the plane, stomach physically hurting and headache, and so brutal trip. And then I spent the last 3 days just trying to heal and rest, you know, trying to get stuff done around the house, visit with the boy. You know, stuff that I hadn't done since I've been gone. You know, you miss your family when you're gone for an extended time. I missed my dad. I missed my son. I missed his little doggy. You know, I've had videos of that little dog on this channel and him. And so, you know, went to track meet and all that stuff. But this is my YouTube channel, so I want to talk about, you know, what has been on my mind since I left. Community, right? How are we building community? It's really hard to build community when you're feeding off of each other like animals. Right? I mean, the communities that we've built are kind of in that state. And even the healing community in some ways, you know, they call themselves healers, but if you're projecting an image of being unhealed, then that's what you're projecting. Right? You're projecting an image of being unhealed. And so you say, well, you need to be healed. Okay. Who's to say that I'm not whole? If I'm not whole, then you as the healer who are projecting an image of being unhealed are the one that needs to be healed. Right? And so what's the what is the solution if you're healed? Well, let's work together. Let's build community, right? And if you don't trust the person that you are trying to build with, then you don't trust yourself, because you don't have discernment to say, look, you're not ready, right? You're projecting negative images. You don't have the positivity to build whatever it is that you think we need to build together, or we believe we can build together. Treating each other equally, not making sure you're building systems where everyone is surrendering to the vision of the whatever it is you're trying to build, instead of narcissistically trying to control the outcome, right? That's why money was created. Money is a centralized power control circuit that controls the energy between you and me. And so in order to make money, that fear mechanism that is always placing your security in the future, right? It's never grounded in the present. Money is something that you need to save to be able to afford something that's placed in the future. That fear manifests itself in a lot of different ways. It manifests itself in lack of trust. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about this morning. I just started walking down this trail. Haven't been down here for quite a few months. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm always wearing my swim trunks and flip-flops. I wear them year round. If there was snow on the ground, I'd probably be wearing flip-flops and swim trunks. Anyway, I'm just talking. You know, it's always why I've had a problem with the coaching community, because you're always coaching somebody to make money, or coaching somebody to do, you know, for something, and you're just feeding off of them energetically, because you're the only people that are going to agree to do that are somebody who's in a negative emotional state and has unclear vision, right? Your vision isn't clear, so you're like wandering in the dark, and you know, pay somebody, hey, can you help me? There's nothing wrong with asking for help, but if the only way that somebody is willing to help you is for money, and you don't have any or very little to work with, then all of a sudden that person is broke when they get done with you, and now they still have no vision, right? Because you're the only place that you're going to get that is here, right? And it's working with other people, building things together, you know, creating community. I do my best to support a couple of orphanages overseas. You know, I can't be their only means of support, and so I made a post on Saturday. You know, I mean, there was one where, you know, they said they hadn't eaten in 3 days, and they got kids that are dying of yellow fever. It's dire, right? And I can't be the only person that they've reached out to. How many people have they reached out to that just ignored them, or just said, no, I can't afford it? It only costs like, you know, for like $5 a day, you could feed a whole orphanage. It's super cheap over there. But, you know, people are too concerned with external. What is your heart asking you to do? And unless we can build communities that are self-sufficient, you know, a lot of that was what happens over there is based on fear and judgment and externalizing everything. And so you've got kids, too many kids that are being born. You know, the average, I don't know if this is true in that part of Africa, but I know in Bangladesh they talked about how the average woman has 8 children. If that's right, you guys can check that. I don't know. You have to double check that one for me. But that's a lot, right? That's just, shouldn't be having 8 kids, especially if you're in a society that can't support it, you know. And if you're just having sex with multiple partners and then just leaving children on the street because you can't take care of them, there's a problem, right? There's a fundamental problem of where people are focusing their energy. And so you've got to be able to walk away from that. But if, is it the kid's fault? The sins of the fathers fall to the children. You see it in rich families, right? It grows super narcissistic. And then you get a twisted view of reality when, you grow up in those systems. It's like this giant collective mind of feeding on each other energetically in different ways without being able to work together in a healthy way, because everybody's projecting some kind of energy that is unwhole. It's unwholesome. You are whole unto yourself. You're just a giving and receiving love generator, and the type of love that you give and receive is depending on how you see yourself and how you project that into the world. So much to say, so little time to say it. Anyway, I'm back from nusalambongan, and positivity reigns. We're gonna keep moving forward and making sure that we're trying to do things for ourselves in the right way. And yeah, I had such a wonderful experience there, and so grateful for the people I met there. It was really fun. I encourage all of you that are watching this, if you made it this far, to visit Bali. It's an interesting place. One thing that discouraged me a little bit was, I'd ask the people that I met there, sometimes they were hotel owners, sometimes they were taxi drivers, and I'd ask them, hey, so when are you guys, think you'd ever go and visit the US? And they'd always laugh it off, say, no, I can't do that. That's too much money. They just don't believe, right, that they could. But if you believe, and if any one of them would have turned to me and said, can you help me go to America? It would have humbled me. Of course I would have done everything I could do. I'd given them everything I have, because if they asked, right? If you ask, then you receive. If I ask the question and you have the humility to ask in return, say, yes, would you help me? I'd be like, hell yeah. Come on over. I'd love to show you around for a couple weeks. Nanga or any of the other taxi drivers that I talked to that just laughed it off and didn't believe that it was something that was available for them. Everything around here is all about belief, right? And it's really hard to temper your belief when you're caught in believing that your only way of moving around in the world is by money. Anyway, it's just about love. I mean, that's unconditional love is the only thing that really comes from and goes back to the heart. That's pure, comes from and goes back there. Everything else is usually some kind of form of attachment, which is why it's a lower energetic state and vibrates at a lower frequency. If you guys are interested in learning about all that stuff, I'm starting class this week. Love to see you there so we can talk about things like that. But my advice is project a healing energy to the people around you. Love them. Don't judge whatever they're doing or not doing. And just be there for them in the right way. And do your best to carry your own burdens, right? If I'm thinking negatively, or a lot of maybe some of the things that I've said on this channel could be viewed as negative, but it's a simple observation, right? You can't. The coaching community has good intention, and most of them have amazing people. But if we're spending all day long trying to fix one another, then we never really focus on the fact that the only person that we're ever really responsible for is ourselves, right? And I'm not gonna say I'm any more or less to blame than anybody. I've had my own things to try and overcome. So anyway, Love you guys. And oh yeah, end of this video, I'm gonna try and clip in the yellow bridge that I kind of screwed my hand up. So, and I'm gonna clip in a short video of the whale shark, because my dive instructor sent us a video. So the whale shark at the end of this video, you'll see, is I'm farther underneath it than the person that was there, and then this person that took this short video clip didn't catch it when it came back underwater, and it swam parallel to us in the water. It was super cool. Amazing. And I'll talk in the next video about how to manifest things like that. The day before, we had been talking about, wouldn't it be amazing to see something? And when I got home, I didn't focus on what it was going to be. I just felt the feeling in the body of all of us seeing something we hadn't seen before in the water, and what that feeling would be. And then I let it go. And then I never thought about it again until we got in the water. And then I remembered what I had done the previous day, right? You have to ground what it is, what you want in the present. Whatever it is you want, what kind of outcome do you want to feel? And ground it in the present. Feel it in the body. And it'll all come to play, right? And you do it for the right reasons. Not just for you, but for the people around you. Love you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.